Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Rashida McFerrin, and today we're going to be talking about manifesting money in a recession, 3 quick tips to building wealth during tough times. So, just to give you a little bit of context, we were in the store, me and my son, the other day, and I picked up an item that I knew used to be like, let's say it was $4.99. Looked at the price and was like, oh my God, this is triple of what it used to be. And so I think all of us can agree that inflation has hit us pretty hard over the last 2 to 3 to 4 years, basically the last 4 years since the pandemic. Everything has gone up and skyrocketed. And for millennials, I feel like it's the first time in our adult life that we're experiencing inflation. I've seen things go up in the past, but I have not seen them go up to the point of like tripling the price. And it is pretty consistent across the board. And my son was like, oh my God, Ma, I am so tired of hearing you talk about how much more expensive everything is. Adjust and get over it. You gotta love kids, right? Because like they just are honest, unfiltered truth tellers. And he was right in a sense. But I was like, I don't think you understand how much of a shock this is to my system. And so, where you would have had money before, your money has, I won't say it's dwindled, but it's tight. Everything is like 3 times what it used to cost, including housing. I make no mistake in regards to understanding how important it is to have your own residence in this country. By all means, I'm not saying don't buy your dream home. I'm never saying that. I'm a realtor. I sell homes. Of course, I'm saying buy your dream home. I am, however, saying that in this market and in this economy, you have to be extremely mindful of the fact that if you purchase a home now, it's going to cost you more money, not just across the board as far as the product is being concerned, but across the board as far as your financing is concerned, because interest rates have been through the roof over the last 3 to 4 years. Needless to say, I want to give 3 quick tips on how to handle your money as we're dealing with this recession. I've been doing a lot of thinking around my money story and making updates where it needed. As you can imagine, the concept of having a consistent money story is something that you live out every day. It is constantly changing, it is constantly evolving and progressing to the next phase in life. And so we have to be conscious in regards to how our money story is impacting us and our lives, as well as the people who are around us. More specifically, I'm talking about your immediate family that lives in your house that you experience on a day to day basis, that is a part of what you live out. The first tip that I'm going to talk about is rewrite your money story. Over the past few years, I've had to rewrite my money story. And it ultimately comes down to the fact that, you know what, I just need to make more money. And we all do. We always need to make more money. Always having more money is, in a sense, a comfort for you, especially in times where things are as expensive as they are. I'm working on being able to afford that. If there was something I wanted that I didn't have the money for, I would have a goal. I put that goal into my overall spending plan. And then I would work on small, bite sized, actionable steps to get me closer to the goal. So, for example, if there was a new car I wanted, I would save up a certain amount of money and then go either pay for the car completely or at least put half down for the car so I can have that active line of credit. That's the car loan reporting to my credit, and it's still continuing to build credit. I've become very clear about what's what and how it goes where, and if where it's going is not efficient any longer or no longer serves our overall family, and how we can repurpose those funds for better use in the future. The next step is going to be investing in yourself. I remember when I first started in banking, it was spring 2006. I always would go and pick up the Memphis Business Journal and the Wall Street Journal because those were the papers at the time. Those were the papers that would be in the break room at the bank. And I would go and I would just shift through like the stocks and the Dow Jones. And I literally didn't know what I was looking at outside of the fact that I knew that there were stocks and I knew that they were listed in the paper, but I didn't know necessarily what to do with them. And I think a year before that, or maybe 2 or 3 years before that, I had started asking my uncle, who had been abroad for like the last 7 or 8 years, how to start investing my money because he was really good in the stock market. He was an investor. And he started talking to me about investing when I was like 18, and I just didn't really understand what he was trying to teach me. And so it's kind of like, yeah, it's a hit or miss. It was kind of like dropping the gem, planting the seed that will later grow and mature into something. And it took a while for me to mature to that level of being able to understand how I could redirect my money. I started to reach out to people. I think MySpace had just popped off back then. And so I started to reach out and connect with people within the local area, in the Memphis area, who were stock traders and who would be open to talking to me about their journey. And I built a few connections, but ultimately at the end of the day, nobody really taught me how to invest. That year I would buy my first stock. I think their stock debuted at like $32,000. And of course, I didn't have 32 grand to invest in it, but the way you invest in company stock, they give you employee stock purchase plan. It gives you the opportunity to invest in the stock and then build it over time. But the main thing was that the intent and the interest for me learning about investing in markets was there. That was the most important thing in order for me to get started in regards to investing in myself. I had to invest in the financial knowledge and in the investment skills that I needed in order to grow my investments and my investment intelligence. And like I said, like as soon as I started banking, I went right back to graduate school at the Southeastern School of Banking at Owen Graduate School of Management, which is Vanderbilt. And I would spend the next 2 years literally immersed in investing bank funds and creating stocks and taking companies public and being in charge of stuff that I was completely uncomfortable doing. The instructor thought it was always fun to put me in the hot seat. Thinking back on it now, it like made me a better investor overall because it taught me the basics and laid the foundation. And so you have to be willing to invest in yourself. And I'm saying investing in yourself, I'm meaning personally, and then also the employment that you take. You have to make sure that they're investing into you as well so that the skills that you learn there are transferable skills that you can take into the marketplace and create more value for yourself as being an employee. Okay. And then number 3 is going to be open IDA. And if you don't know what an IDA is an individual development account. You can put funds into it up to a certain amount, and the institution that's holding the funds will match your money based on your income. And I forgot, give me a second. I think each state has different eligibility for having an IDA. It's either you would need to not make more than $40,000 to $50,000. So say you're just getting started, you just graduated from school. Say you're making about 40 grand a year. And granted, I know that there are people out there graduating college making 6 figures, but just say that you're not one of those people. Because I wasn't one of those people. I had to work my way up to get to 6 figures. You're just at the income limit that is required in order for you to open an IDA, and you want to have the opportunity to participate in the fund. And so here it is. IDA requirements for the state of Texas. So I use my nephew as an example because he's 25 and he just got like his first professional job, and he's in that phase of learning about money, learning how to invest money, learning how to spend money. And then my other nephew is a little younger. He's 4 years younger than him. I'm trying to teach him the same thing, but it takes him a little longer to get it. It's just little small steps at a time. So, and a lot of times I see people using IDAs as a savings plan so they can buy a house. It's a great tool to use if you make less than the required income amount. In the state of Texas, it's 40K. You kind of have to ask the question, what kind of house can I afford making $40,000 a year? So it almost would have to be you and I would feel like it would have to be you and your partner. So if you made 40K and she made 40K, and say you both went in and did the programs individually, you would double the amount that you could contribute to the IDA, and you would have more money to bring to closing. Meet in order. Here we go. It's just taking me a little longer. In Texas, it's called the Financial Education Program. It's on the website raisetexas.org. And I will add this to the show notes, the link, the PDF. If you just so happen to be in the state of Texas, most funders have specific timelines for funding IDA programs up to 5 years. The average time frame is 2 to 5 years from the funder, but many programs say it usually takes an IDA participant an average of 3 years to successfully complete the program. So there's a timeline on it. The 3-year timeline can be a good figure to keep in mind if you are considering using it to buy and purchase an asset. So an example for an express IDA that gives a 4-to-1 match up to $1,000 of saving for a 1 year period of time. What is a 4-to-1? Does it give you $4 for every dollar you put in it? Because if it does, like, that's a heck of a program. Or does it give you $1 for every 4 you put in it? It's the reverse. And a lot of times it's going to be a nonprofit organization that usually offers the IDA because they get funds from either the government or a personal donor. So this is Tennessee. What's pulling up for me are special bank accounts that help people save for education, buying a home, or starting a business. Okay, so it serves more than one purpose. I didn't know you could use them to start businesses. There are 33 states plus the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico that have laws or policies governing IDAs. Arkansas, Connecticut, District of Columbia, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and then there are other additional states that have established IDA policies: Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Montana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. There is a financial education requirement. In most cases, participants are required to attend financial educational classes, such as the FDIC's Money Smart program. Some IDA participants use their assets most frequently to buy homes, but also made withdrawals for home repairs to pay for education and to fund small business. 18% of people used it for home repairs. 21% used it for post-secondary education. Get that education. I love it. 23% used it for micro enterprise, which is business. 28% used it for home purchases. 2% used it for job training. And then 7% used it for retirement. So you can use it in the form of a retirement if your income is like a set level. You know what? So say if you're a teacher, I'm just thinking out loud. Say if you're a teacher and you make your retirement is like 40 grand a year or right under 40, you could use this account for your home repairs. That's a really good idea. Because one thing about as you get older, if you have a home, you're going to have to continue to maintenance the home. If your income is set at a certain level, this is an ideal opportunity for you to be able to use those funds in order to get matched. That's almost like getting free money. It's just like they tell you when you in corporate, honey. Like the minute you get eligible for that 401k, sign up for your 401k. It's technically money being given to you, but you are trading your time for dollars. It's a different concept, but if you don't participate in it, then you're losing money. I like this. I like this a lot. Based on the different states, if you contribute up to $2,500 over time, they match it with the $2,500 for a total of $5,000. And that's money that you can use towards the purchase of a house, opening a business, continuing your education. My next question kind of becomes, so once you've had one IDA, can you continue to use the IDA as you have use the fund for those qualifying purchases? Is there a limit on it over a lifetime? The point is that using an IDA is another way for you to build wealth in your life. Let's go back over the top 3 things you can do to manifest money while you're in the recession and make sure that you're getting through the tough times. Number one is we're going to rewrite our money story and make sure we're paying attention to what's going on in our money. We're going to be in a relationship with our money. Money is going to be pay, okay? You need to know where your dollars are going, where it's being spent, how it's being invested, how is it functioning in your life. Number two, you're going to invest in yourself. As I always say, investment intelligence is good intelligence. So spend the money you need in order to invest in increasing your financial and investment knowledge. And then that last one is what we were just talking about. Open an individual development account if you have income up to like $40,000, depending on which state you're in. And that is all for today's episode. I hope something that we've talked about today has helped you in one way or another. As always, you can find us on Rashida.ai, where all of our course offerings and products are there, along with the podcast and our blog. And I am on socials on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And that's pretty much it. As usual, if you like what you hear, please take the time to review our episode and leave us a 5-star rating. That helps the show grow to reach more listeners so that we can spread our message of manifesting millions by taking actionable steps to get to your ultimate goal. That is all for now. In the meantime, I will see you in the next episode. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. Bye bye.